serpents and spiders, tail of a rat. Call in the spirits wherever they're at.
We're back in Disneyland today and it's Halloween, one of my favorite times of the year. And behind me we have the Haunted Mansion, which has been decorated up to look like Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas. But, you know, let's take a walk and let's check out some other really cool areas of the park. Now, if any of you have seen my video, The Occult Secrets of Disneyland, you've heard me discuss such concepts like, was Walt Disney a Freemason? And I've also looked at all the great mysteries of this park, and I wanted to talk about a few others today. First of all, we know that Walt Disney was fascinated by the mysteries, the Rosicrucian mysteries, in fact, and he was a master storyteller. A few friends of mine have really shone a lot of light on this, such as Freemason and researcher Hank Kreischer, who has talked about this extensively, not only in his books and articles online, but he's looked at the ideas of not only was Walt a member of Desmoulins, which is named after Jacques de Molay, the great Knights Templar, who met his demise on Friday the 13th, 1307, but we also know that the park is on 1313 Harbor Boulevard. We also see other Masonic mysteries around the park, such as originally it said the working tools of H. Abiff near the Jungle Cruise, and of course the main character in the Masonic allegories is Hiram Abiff, the widow's son, who met his demise by the three ruffians, Jubala, Jubalo, and Jubalam, before he was buried at the brow of Mount Moriah. And then there's the story of Peter Pan, which we know says that you should follow the second star to the right, which is Sirius, the dog star, which we get dogma from. But when we want to talk Masonic, we can't discuss this topic without looking at Club 33, which we discussed last time. And 33, of course, is the same as the 33 degrees of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. If you look up at Club 33, you'll notice the Masonic pillars of Boas and Yakin, or Jachin. Boas and Jachin. So there's no doubt a correlation with Club 33, which is very exclusive, with the idea that to get Walt Disney going at the beginning, not only over in Burbank, but here, there had to be a cooperation with Freemasonic brothers. And I think Walt had a great appreciation for the craft, there's no doubt about that. Another interesting fact that was taught to me by a friend of mine who's also a Freemason, and he's a Disney fan, Sean Rachel. He showed me that when you look at the ride, it's a small world. The main character in that ride is actually the sun, which is the light of Freemasonry, and it follows you all the way through to illuminate everyone in the world. And there's all sorts of significance that we see within fairy tales and mythology, and you really learn about this when you look at the work of the great mythologist Joseph Campbell, the work of Emmanuel Velikovsky, or even more recently with a professor over in Toronto, Jordan Peterson. He's looked at a lot of the Disney cartoons and pulled out all the great allegories and mythology that we see there and how you can apply it from a psychological or Jungian perspective, which I think is really fascinating. But when we look again over at the Haunted Mansion, we learn about all sorts of different stories that have followed Disneyland around for a very long time. And some of those stories have included hauntings, such as the one we learn about over on Main Street with Walt Disney. People have said that Walt still occupies that little office above the fire department, and some of the folks that work here have actually said they've heard him say, "I'm still here." You know, there was other stories that we learned about over the years, such as in 1984, Dolly Young was thrown from the Matterhorn ride, and she is said to still haunt that ride. And also in June 1966, there was a monorail incident with a student that came out and snuck into that area, and he is said to still haunt that area. We have stories about Imagineers haunting the Haunted Mansion for real, people spreading the ashes. In fact, people spread their ashes so often on these rides that they have to call for a HEPA cleanup to get them out of there, and have a special bone filter to get them out of there. People standing up on the rides, actually dying there and having a presence, which has all kinds of spooky significance. But anyhow, I like to think that Walt not only still has a presence here, and these parks serve a very special purpose in the world, but even on the other side, I think that Walt went on to build replicas of these parks so that we can enjoy them when we cross over as well. In fact, many people who have astral projections have talked about coming here to these parks, and I'm sure that many people on both sides of the veil come check out the Disney parks. So those are some of the magical and spooky connections to the park. So until next time, remember to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I'm gonna go ride some rides. Make sure you all have a magical day.
Hurry back, hurry back. Be sure to bring your death certificate if you decide to join us.